Hello, everyone, and welcome to this week's episode of The Mara Show. I'm Mara Hoover, founder of FemPower You and Financial Power You, and the host of The Mara Show, where we bring you experts in personal development, business, and relationships. We broadcast live every Wednesday at 11 a.m. Pacific, and today I have an incredible guest, and we've got a really cool, not only free gift, but very special offer for those of you joining us live that are actually going to be able to have some interaction with our guest today. So right now what I want to do is introduce Jayne Sanders. I'm going to read her bio and then we will welcome her to the show. Thanks for being here today. Jayne Sanders is a transformational catalyst, innovative purpose coach, and scientific hand analyst. After over 25 years in the corporate world, Jayne became unfulfilled in her career and embarked on a search for her life purpose and more meaningful, joyful work. She found scientific hand analysis, and her life hasn't been the same since. It went from a great life to a fabulous life, and she now wakes up every day inspired about her life and her work. Jayne's passion is to help others feel the same way. Using scientific hand analysis and innovative purpose coaching, she guides others through their challenges into their life purpose and special innate gifts for more consistent, joyful, fulfilling, and abundant success. She is absolutely the real deal. Welcome to the show, Jayne.
Thank you, Mara. So nice to be here. It's lovely to see you again.
Great to see you as well, and I am just so excited to have you here. The first thing that I do want to tell our viewers that are either joining us live or going to be watching this on an archive is that my opportunity to be able to work with you and have my hands analyzed really did change my perspective on my purpose and gave me so much clarity. And so I want to thank you and honor you for the work that you do. And I'm just so excited for you to share more of this with our viewers.
I appreciate that very much, and I want to thank you for the opportunity to do that because it's my thing and makes my heart sing, and I just absolutely love my work, so thanks.
Awesome. So tell me a little bit, you said in your bio it said that you went from one position, woke up at some point and said, this really isn't working for me. What directed you to scientific hand analysis, and why did it feel like such a great match for you?
You know, it was a 5-year-long process, actually, of waking up, where I was just becoming more and more unfulfilled in my work, and as a professional speaker, and I had that business, for 15 years and did very well, and as my heart pulled away from it, so did the revenue. But I didn't want to invest in it because I knew at some level, Mara, that I was supposed to be doing something else. Mm-hmm. But I didn't know what that was. So I just kept doing it. And then the real kick in the head was both of my parents died really close together. So it was a real wake-up call of, life is short, figure it out. So the way I found scientific hand analysis was literally Googling for how do I find my life purpose?
Wow.
I knew the articulation of that was what I was missing, and I really believed, and still do, obviously, that everyone has their own unique purpose. Mm-hmm. So it took me a few months, and I, read some books and did some other work, and it didn't really help, and then just ran across a teleseminar about scientific hand analysis, and I thought, palm reading, that's not what I want. But the science of it appealed to my MBA corporate brain. Uh-huh. And the main claim to fame is that it helps you identify your innate life purpose, really how you're meant to make a difference in the world in your own unique way. And I said, okay, sign me up, that's for me. And I did it, and it's been a whole different world ever since.
So I know that this definitely changed your life, and I'm sure with the clients that you've worked with, they've had some incredible changes as well. Mm-hmm. You mentioned the science. I think that's one of the first things that is so important to address. I saw that you were featured in a Forbes article. Can you tell us briefly why this works scientifically and how it actually lines up so that people that are just joining us, maybe this is the first time they're hearing about it, and they're thinking the same thing. Palm reading, really? Yeah. And, what's the difference, and how can scientific hand analysis actually work scientifically?
Excellent question. First of all, compared to palm reading, there is no predictive element in hand analysis, other than, I will tell anyone, if you take action on the information in the hands. I don't care how good your life is now, it will only get better if you take action. That's the only prediction I can make. The science is that the lines in your hands mimic the neural pathways in your brain. So neurologists are getting involved in this. A neurologist actually wrote the foreword in, the primary book on the topic by the founder of this system. The name of the book is Life Prints. So the lines in your hands mimic the neural pathways in your brain, and the way that the system was developed is scientific. He spent 40 years and analyzed 15,000 pairs of hands to put the database together, then tested it on another 50,000 pairs of hands. So the accuracy is astonishing, and actually clients use the word mind-blowing and shockingly accurate. Mm-hmm. Yeah, you remember, I mean, it's just like,
oh, yeah.
I know this just by looking at my hands.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
So really it's been studied, it's been researched, there's been, and they're starting to see now, as we understand more about the brain, how we can actually have the blueprint in our hands.
Yes, and blueprint's a great word.
Yeah, so when I was growing up, I was raised and still believe that there is a creative designer out there that created each one of us. Mm-hmm. And when I discovered hand analysis and met you, it just made so much sense to me that, of course, if the entire world is so organized, why wouldn't it be that organized that we would have the blueprint to really help and empower us in the palm of our own hands? It's just so cool.
Exactly. I mean, why wouldn't God, Spirit, Source, whatever your beliefs are, help us by giving us that roadmap, help us figure out how we're meant to do our best work and how we're meant to make a difference in the world. Yeah. So I get chills, when I talk about it, because it's just so profound. And when I say that people say it's shockingly accurate, yes, of course, 99% of the information is going to resonate with you. You're going to know it's right.
Yeah.
Even if you haven't thought about it in that way or weren't really aware of it in that particular perspective, you're going to know it's right, especially your purpose.
Right. Awesome. Well, what I want to do is we do have quite a few viewers on, so I just wanted to let our viewers know, welcome to the Mara Show. I'm Mara Hoover, for those of you that are maybe joining us for the first time. And today I have our guest, Jayne Sanders, who is an expert in scientific hand analysis. And what we're going to be doing in just a few minutes, right about 11:30 Pacific, is there's going to be a button available on our Mara Show page where you're going to be able to join our Hangout and actually have Jayne read your, is it going to be your Heartline that you're going to be taking a look at?
I'll just whatever strikes me.
Okay, cool. So you're going to be able to put your hand up to the screen, and she's actually going to give you a little mini hand analysis to kind of let you know how it works. So if that's something that you're interested, make sure to stay tuned. We're going to talk a little bit more about how this actually works, Jayne's experience with it, and then we'll jump into doing the mini hand analysis. So my next question for you, Jayne, is specifically you shared how scientific hand analysis changed your life. Is there anything more that you want to say around that before we move on to maybe looking at the information that's found in someone's hands?
Well, I mean, I think, and you also said before, it's changed the lives of my clients, which is more important. They don't care about me. They care about them. Right. I mean, I am a perfect example. And it's not just the hand analysis that makes a difference as well, because it's a fire hose of information, as you've experienced.
Yeah.
The full analysis. Today we're just going to do a minute or two on each person. But the full analysis is tons of information. So a lot of people need coaching to help them step into their purpose. And as far as changing my life, it wasn't just determining my purpose and then finding the ideal work for me. It's also when you find out what your life lesson is, which is your main blind spot, your key challenges, and take action on those, unbelievable the difference that makes. It really steps you into your power and gives you confidence, I've had one client whose business tripled within 2 months because she knew she was on purpose, but she hadn't owned her gifts and her talents, and by hearing them from an outside expert gave her that courage to step into her gifts and her strengths, and she just went for it, and it just changed everything. So it's far more than just purpose, but yes, purpose is the big kahuna in scientific hand analysis.
Awesome. All right, so we talked a little bit about the science. We talked about how it's affected you personally. You mentioned a couple things that you can find in the hands. So can you give us more specific detail about the different aspects of what a full hand analysis would analyze and what people can find out from going through this process with you?
Absolutely. So, number one, your innate life purpose. Number two, any special gifts and talents that you may have that are very important to know about for reasons that I just stated, so you can own them and embrace them and really live them and bring them into your life. And also because everything in the hands has a master path and a student path. And the master path feels good and makes it easier to step into and live your purpose more fully and consistently. The student path feels like resistance. It comes from fear, and it makes it more challenging to live your purpose. So the student path of gift markings is called a penalty, and it's not a punishment. It's more like a little wake-up call, a reminder. So, God's Spirit says, okay, Mara, I choose you to give you these gifts. So I need you to use them to help people. That's why they exist. So if you're not using them enough to help people, I'm going to give you just a little poke, a little wake-up call to remind you to use those gifts. So that's what's called a penalty, and it shows up as a life complication. And each gift marking has its own particular penalty attached. So by learning what your gifts are and making sure that you're using them, you step out of those complications. So that can change your life. And your gift markings also become part of your purpose. And then I mentioned life lesson, which is, the big blind spot, the underpinning underneath all the patterns we keep bringing back into our life. Other challenges, your heart line, which is how you are in relationship, how you want to be treated in relationship. Your headline, your thinking process, your decision-making process, how much aptitude and capacity you have for a lot of different elements: leadership, teamwork, intuition, creativity. Basically, everything about who you are and why you're here and what to do about it. That's the thing. The information is actionable. It's not just fascinating. It's actionable.
So cool. I remember specifically one of the things that came up when you were doing my analysis was you were pointing out the high level of creativity that showed up in my hands. And I've never been a singer or a dancer or a painter, and so I had a really hard time grasping where does my creativity really show up? And it was really fascinating because I talked to two other people, one woman who did kind of a reading on me and more on a spiritual level, and what she was able to say is, wow, you really also have creativity, but Mara, your creativity is in building structures and systems. I love flowcharts, and I didn't realize, and I wasn't owning the fact that that was creativity. And yesterday, I just finished a 2-day event called my Integrative Business Intensive, where I took 4 business women and worked with them for 2 solid days creating their business plan, structures, flowcharts. And I did that because I finally stepped in and owned my creativity because we specifically had that hand analysis. So it was amazing for me to see and be able to really own it, and it works.
That's awesome. Well, it's so funny because now I tell everybody creativity doesn't have to be the visual arts.
Right.
It can be the way you think. It could be systems and processes. It could be your intuition. It could be car mechanics. It can be gardening. It can be so many different things. And speaking of creativity, Mara, look in the mirror. I mean, that's some of your creativity right there. Right. Your amazing presence and the way that your image, is just so delightful and very, very creative and innovative. I don't remember anything about your hand analysis because, I just do too many, and it's confidential, so I just let it go out of my head as soon as it's done. But
right.
I'm not surprised that we found a lot of creativity in your hands.
Yeah, and it was cool to just be able to own it and know, okay, now I can see how that really shows up in my life, and I felt like it was definitely a life-changing experience. So my next question is, you've said that you're going to get some actionable items from doing a hand analysis. So it's not just informative or interesting, it really is a way that you can motivate change.
Mm-hmm.
So do you want to speak to that a little bit more?
Sure. Well, you just gave one perfect example.
Mm-hmm.
The client that I mentioned whose business tripled by just owning her gifts and stepping into her power.
Mm-hmm.
Those are just gifts we're talking about. So first of all, when you find your life purpose and have that confirmed, and you're going to know it's you,
mm-hmm. Yeah.
have that confirmed, it gives you permission, again, to own that part of yourself. The life lesson, which I've mentioned, we call the key to the hand. Because without taking steps to address your life lesson, and I give you how to do that,
mm-hmm.
without taking steps to address your life lesson, it makes it very challenging to live your purpose on a consistent basis. So, for example, a lot of people, I would say about 30% of my clients are on purpose,
mm-hmm.
but they're not experiencing the consistent and deep level of fulfillment or financial abundance that they want and deserve.
Mm-hmm.
And that's usually because of the student path that they're on and not taking action on that, because they're not utilizing all their gifts, so they've got some complications going on, or they're not taking steps to address their life lesson.
Mm-hmm.
So those things can really be extraordinarily transformative by taking action on those things. And you get all the information on how to do that in a hand analysis.
Yeah, what you mentioned at the very beginning when you started answering the question really resonated with me. Well, of course it all does, because I've seen it work for myself. But the big thing for me was confirmation. Mm-hmm. And it was because I've been lucky enough to be on purpose and know that I was moving in the right direction. But sometimes there's still questions. We
Yes.
always wonder, why me, and how do I get to show up like this, and are people really going to listen, and all of those questions and that garbage that we allow to play in our heads. And after having the analysis, it was so clear to me that I was right on path, on purpose, and it was just a brand new confirmation and validation of, you know what, I am awesome. And
you are.
I think, and I want that experience for every single human being on the planet. I mean, you're awesome. It's when you can really own that and know, these are my gifts, it changes everything.
It does. It really does. And I often even articulate it that way, that you can discover or confirm your life purpose, because a lot of people just want to know that they're on the right track. They're getting ready to make a big change or make a big investment or something like that, and they want to make sure that whatever they're getting ready to do fits underneath the umbrella of their purpose. Because, let me explain that too. It's not a job description.
Mm-hmm.
It's an overarching description of how you're meant to make a difference in the world. And several jobs can fit that description, thank goodness, because then that gives us free will to choose the work that will give us the most joy and fulfillment. And only we know what that is.
Right.
And the other thing about the work, too, is when you take it into the purpose coaching, because it is a lot of information, and if you're not on purpose, it was for me, it was like, okay, there are so many ways I could express this purpose. I'm not sure which is right for me. And I didn't know immediately that I wanted to be a hand analyst. I went into purpose coaching, with my teacher at the time to help me determine that. And then it was just a few months, I was like, what am I thinking? I love this work. It is so fascinating. I want people to feel the way that I do,
right.
Every day, feeling so inspired about my work. I'm working my butt off, 6 days, often 7 days a week, and loving every minute of it. Who
Right.
can say that?
Yeah.
You know, I wait to get in my office in the morning.
Yeah, that's
Crazy.
so cool. Crazy and awesome. That's
It's
your
crazy.
awesomeness showing.
Yeah.
All right.
So, yeah.
So for those of you that are just joining us, welcome to the Mara Show. I'm Mara Hoover, and on the Mara Show, we bring you experts in personal development, business, and relationships. We broadcast live at 11 a.m. Pacific every Wednesday. You can head over to themarashow.com. If you're not watching us there right now, if you're finding this on YouTube or social media, navigate to themarashow.com. You can go ahead and subscribe for our reminders so you can join us every Wednesday live. We always give you access to incredible people, and every single one of our guests gives away a free gift. So what we're going to do right now is talk with Jayne a little bit about what she's going to be giving away for every single person who finds this video anywhere in the world in the archives. And as long as you navigate right over to themarashow.com, find the video, click on the button right below the video, you'll have access to her free gift. And then when we're done with that, we're going to open it up for our live viewers to go ahead and get a mini hand analysis with Jayne, which is going to be a really cool opportunity. And the way that that's going to work is we're going to be posting a link on Facebook at FemPowerU. Is it the FemPowerU? Okay, at Mara M. Hoover /Mara M. Hoover at Facebook. And we're also going to be posting a button underneath the video that's broadcasting at themarashow.com. It's going to say click here to join the Hangout Live. Just click it, it'll let you right into the video, and then you can get that analysis done. So right now, Jayne, let us know a little bit about what you cooked up to give away and how people can find out more about what you do and working with you possibly.
Absolutely. So what I did is I created a 10-minute video for free.
Cool.
That tells everybody what the 4 major types of heart lines are, which is the top pretty much horizontal line across your hand that starts underneath your pinky finger and goes across toward either your middle finger or your index finger, and some go straight across. So there are 4 general types of heart lines, and I have explained each one and what it means so that you can look at your own hands and identify which heart line or heart lines you might have, because many people have a mix, and your heart line tells you how you are in relationship, how you express love and affection, and how you prefer love and affection expressed to you. So you can imagine how helpful this would be to have this information about yourself and anybody that you're in relationship with, because it really helps you understand yourself and others as well. And it's terrible, I forget the link, Mara. I know Stacy has it.
Oh, that's fine. You know what we're going to do is actually make it really easy. So you just have to navigate to themarashow.com. Under the video, there's going to be a button. It'll be there forever. You can click it. It'll take you right to Jayne's website where you can subscribe and then watch that video and learn how to analyze and find out more about your own heartline, which is a really cool gift.
Yes, thank you, and I hope everybody really enjoys it. And then my website as well is, and the name of my company is Precision Wisdom.
Okay.
So precisionwisdom.com. They can find all kinds of information about hand analysis, about me, about my work, about my purpose coaching, and everything else. So
Great. So head over if you have questions about how you can actually, I would highly recommend that every single person that's watching this have a full hand analysis done with Jayne. It blew my mind and just confirmed so many things and helped me to really feel validated on the path that I've chosen in my life. And so check out precisionwisdom.com, Jayne's website, find out more about working with her. And also, Jayne, you've just been featured in a Forbes article, is that right?
Yes, I was a few months ago.
Tell us a little bit more about that.
Well, the reporter, asked me to do a hand analysis on her. She was blown away, just like everybody was, and then had me compare her hands with another consultant that she was considering. I guess I can say his name because it's in the article. So it was with Alex Mandossian.
Okay.
Internet guru and marketing expert. and they were thinking about a collaboration, and she wanted me to take their two sets of hands and look at them from the standpoint of what would they need to be aware of, what would they want to watch out for, what would be helpful for them to know about each other in order to enter into this collaboration. So, it really helped her make that decision and confirm that it was the right thing to do. I mean, who wouldn't want to work with Alex, right?
Right. Yeah, he's amazing.
Yeah.
Big shout out for Alex Mandossian, who taught me how to do Google Hangouts. So.
Yeah. And then she also, got all her confirmation and gifts and everything else, so got the other benefits as well. And, there are testimonials on there from people that one leadership strategist said it has helped his work every day, and he works with the Fortune 500. Another person on that, another business consultant, was quoted in there saying that she has done just about every kind of personal and professional growth work there is, and that her hand analysis was the most impactful and gave her the most value of all of it. And as you know, it's not cheap. This is right. You've got to invest in yourself to make progress and to really move forward and get this kind of transformation. So,
well, and it's worth every penny, and it's what I found is it's so labor intensive for you. I mean, when you told me, you send out a really cool kit that someone doesn't have to necessarily be with you. You teach them how to do the handprints. They do them. They send them to you virtually, and then you're the one that actually has to sit down and do all of the homework to do the analysis. So it's worth paying for. There's absolutely huge value there.
Well, thank you for saying that. Actually, just last night I did a hand analysis, and the person told me it was worth 10 times what she paid.
Yeah.
She said one piece of information that you gave me, and she had a particular thing in mind, was worth the price of admission. So yeah, and thank you for bringing up too. You don't have to. I have only met maybe 10% of my clients. They buy online. I mail them a handprint kit. They take that with instructions, and I'm getting ready to put a video of me doing it on my website so people can see it in action. They take their handprints, scan them, and email them back to me, or snail mail, whatever, and then we schedule a phone call, and I record it. And I'm glad this is May, because very shortly I'm going to be taking the price up and including a written transcription, because it's so much information.
Yeah.
You've just got to get it transcribed,
Yep.
But you do get a summary chart and a recording in any event, and pretty soon it will also include the written transcription, just for me making sure everybody gets that information at every level.
Awesome. Well, and I hadn't had a chance to read the Forbes article. I did know that you were published in it, and my head just exploded a minute ago when you were talking about Alex and the author of the article, because I hadn't thought about it in the sense of looking at compatibility for business partnerships, for joint ventures, for obviously intimate relationships, marriages, how to understand your children. I mean, there is.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, it's just mind-blowing, the potential.
Well, you just gave me goosebumps again, because the children that I've done, their parents now have their child's innate life purpose and the challenges that they may be faced with as information to help gently guide them through their young lives. I mean, had I known my purpose, Mara, before I went to college, I would have studied something completely different. I never knew what I wanted to do, and that made me feel stupid.
Right.
So, it's so, parents are just like, they keep telling me, oh my God, people will pay for this, because to know what my child's purpose is, holy cow. And I did one child, and his mother told me that their relationship completely changed because she could understand him so much better, because she knew now this one marking that I told her about and what it meant. And she thought he was just being obtuse and difficult. And he wasn't. He's just built this way. And it just totally changed their relationship.
Wow.
So cool. Yeah, and I want to get to the corporate world, because I think this is going to be the next Myers-Briggs types thing, where it really helps people get into the right work. Rather than leave a company because they're unhappy, as more than half of people are, the company will help them get into the right position and the right work by using hand analysis.
Awesome. Well, what we're going to do right now is I do have a little bit more that I want to chat about with this, but we're going to make that link available right now on the Facebook page because there is that minute delay. It'll take a little while for people to actually get into the video, but those of you that are joining us live, you can navigate over to my Facebook fan page, which is facebook.com/Mara M. Hoover, or you can head to themarashow.com. This video is broadcasting live there. Just refresh the page if you're watching the video there right now, and the button is going to pop up underneath the video where you'll be able to click, and it will easily allow you to join in to our Hangout. That way, you've got easy access to doing that mini hand analysis. So go ahead and start joining us in the Hangout right now, and Jayne and I will keep talking about how cool it is for compatibility and corporate training and kids and all of that, because, you know, there's so many expectations, I think, when children are born, and what I've seen is oftentimes there's parents want the best for their kids, but they also are coming from the place that they only have their skills. And so if they could know, hey, my kid's not being difficult, they're just expressing their life purpose and be able to guide them, I mean, I can't even imagine the potential for creating a new level of parental relationships.
Oh, it's just amazing. You know, I mean, people are trying to, or thank God, they see the value in this and are wanting to pull me in all different directions, so I have to be careful. But think of another application. The suicide rate of returning veterans is just alarming, and I really feel if some of them knew what their life purpose was and what their gifts were, they would have hope and inspiration for the future, and they wouldn't give up. And that gives me goosebumps, you know. So there's just, oh my gosh, this is, you know, moms returning to the workforce, trying to figure out what they want to do. People, up to 70% of people are unhappy in their corporate work. Many of them need to have their own businesses, and that's why I can tell them, you know, given the umbrella where that should fit under. If they want to stay in the corporate world, which many need to do that, I can help get them in the right spot. I mean, it's just, I was blown away by this, as you can tell. I'd never heard of it before. It's still kind of, I mean, it's been around for, I guess, at least 25 years after the 40 years that it was developed. So it's not like it's new, but it's just now kind of coming up and out. Right. I am as certified as I can get for doing it, and I'm now getting certified to teach it. So I'm very excited about that.
Awesome. So you're actually going to be working with other people who maybe find this as their life purpose to get the work out there on a wider scale?
Yeah, their purpose would be in some way to help people in very deep ways. And a lot of counselors and therapists and different types of spiritual, you know, healers, all types of healers, can use this as an adjunct to their work. You know, I've got a lot of life and executive coaches that want to be able to offer this to their clients. To help them guide their clients. So.
Yeah, I mean, as an example, with what I've done with FemPowerU specifically, I created a mastermind program, and one of my ideas as that mastermind program fills is every single woman that joins that's going to be working with me for a year will have a hand analysis done, because it will help me as a coach, and especially coming from the business perspective, to empower them to build a business that they actually love and that they feel fulfilled and they're on purpose. And it also helps me to know how to show up for that person. And I think there's just so many different applications.
Yeah. I mean, like for me, if I was in your mastermind, oh my God, I have such an issue with shiny object syndrome. And that is in my hands, that I get distracted really easy. I really need accountability.
Interesting.
And it's nothing to do with intelligence. Other people, it's just easier for them to stay focused, you know, on one project or one job or one career, and that shows up in the hands as well. And it was like, oh, okay, you know, I'm not really stupid. I just get distracted really easy, and I've got what's called a gotta lifeline, where I start one thing, and then, I think, I got to do this. Oh, wait, I got to do this. So I got 3 or 4 things, and I don't even remember switching, but I started off on project number 1, and all of a sudden I'm over on number 4. What the heck happened?
Yeah, I can definitely relate.
Yeah.
Well, we've just had two people pop on, and it looks like their videos are loading, so we'll give them a couple minutes to get everything situated, and then hopefully we can actually do some mini hand analyses live. It's going to be awesome. Yeah. Cool. So welcome to the call. We've got Faith and we've got Susan, and I don't see their videos yet, but we do welcome you to the Mara Show. Thanks for joining us live, and if you can hear us, you can feel free to give us a comment, and hopefully your videos pop up and we can get this going. Anything?
Yeah, any questions, just let us know.
All right, Susan, I can see your video. Can you hear me?
I can hear you fine.
Excellent. Well, welcome to the call. Thanks for being here.
Good to see you again.
You too. Very excited to have you.
Can you see my video at all? Can you hear me?
I can hear.
So if you can go ahead and pause the video that's playing on the Mara Show, just so we don't get that reverb.
Oh boy. Okay, let me find that. Let's see here. You know what? I don't know. Let's see if it's still playing in the background somewhere.
All right, so Susan, I think you're good, and I'm not hearing the reverb, so I think we're both, everyone's good. So Jayne, why don't you go ahead and take it, chat a little bit with Susan and let her know what she needs to do, and then we'll jump over to Faith.
Okay, I can barely hear Susan.
Can you hear me now?
I can't hear that at all.
You can't hear me?
No, I can hear
barely. I'm going to go ahead and mute myself so there's less noise.
Well, I could hear Faith when she was talking, but I can't hear Susan.
Can you hear me now?
No.
I don't know how to make it.
Well, Susan, you can hear me, right?
Yes, I can.
Okay, see what I'm doing? I'm putting my hand up about like this in front of my camera.
I see Mara.
So just do that. Mara, your sound's off.
Can you see it?
Raise your hand up.
Okay.
No, Mara, she needs to be in the, wait a minute, I got it. Okay, pull your hand up higher. Up higher. There, now pull it back just a touch. Okay, right there. All right, push it back a little bit closer to the camera. There, stop right there. All right, and then let your fingers fall forward just like a half an inch. There. Okay, so you have, looks like a mix of two heart lines, and I'm not going to spend a lot of time on that so that you can go and get the free video. So pull your hand is dropping. Push it back up higher. There. All right, I already see one gift marking, Susan, that I can tell you about, and it looks, it's kind of fuzzy, but it looks to me like you have a line of Persephone, and that means it's called a saver of lost souls. So you are meant to help people in relatively deep ways, and if you don't, you could suffer from off and on depression. So if you've had depression, that could explain why. And if you could pull your hand back a little bit now. Okay. I see a what's called a bitter pill, which means that your parents, as well-meaning as they may have been, and this is very common, put some burden of expectation on you that was hard to swallow. That's why they call it a bitter pill. Some expectation of the way you were to be or believe or think or behave that just didn't sit well with you. Okay, and pull your hand back down a little bit. There we go. I'm trying to see what else I can see because it's kind of fuzzy. Pull back just a touch. All right, let's try coming in closer.
Would the other hand be better?
Yeah, let me see what I can see in the other hand. Oh, I also see a girdle, so, ooh, way too close. All right, pull it up a little bit. Okay, you have quite a spiritual seeker line, which is, you've asked yourself the big questions: who is God? What is God? What's it all about? Why am I here? On the master path, that can be like a two-way radio station with God, being very in touch with your intuition. You ask a question, you'll get the answer. It just may not look like what you're thinking. It could be the next magazine you pick up, or person standing behind you in a grocery store says something that gives you an idea of where to look for something you've been wondering about, and then you go find it. And finally, you're an independent thinker, and you can put your hand down. An independent thinker means that even as a child, you were more forward-thinking and more progressive thinking than your family of origin. So that you might have felt a little disconnected, or they might have thought you were weird, or you kind of felt like you were the black sheep, or, I've got that too, and I never felt like the black sheep, and it took me a few days to realize what it was, but if I'm really honest with myself, I did feel different than the rest of my family, but kind of in a special way. And as an adult, that independent thinker just means you're independent, and you're kind of a rebel in the way that you approach things and life. So I hope that was interesting for you and helpful in a little way.
Very interesting.
Good. And that's less than 5% of what's in your hands, Susan.
There's more?
Oh my God. Yeah, Mara can tell you. No, there's much, 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 much more. I didn't even touch on your purpose, which I can't see doing this way anyway. You really have to have prints, to do purpose, or at least the hands live.
Well, Jayne, thank you so much. That was very interesting. I work with reverse mortgages for people over 62 and love what I'm doing. It helps so many people.
Oh, that's wonderful. Good for you. Well, you're very welcome.
Thank you.
Okay.
All right, so we're going to move on to Faith. Faith, what I've done is I have muted your video. I'm trying to unmute you right now because there was a little background noise. But while I do that, if you want to put your hand up, and as long as you can hear Jayne, she can direct you what to do, and then she'll see if she can give you a little mini analysis.
Okay, raise it up just a little bit, Faith. Raise it up. There you go. Okay, so you have that same gotta lifeline that I have, at least on that hand, where it's really hard for you. You're a good multitasker, but it's hard for you to stay focused unless you're just really super motivated on what you're working on. You'll jump from one thing to another and then wonder how you got, 4 projects sitting on your desk at the same time.
Yeah.
Let's see, pull your hand up a little bit. There we go. Okay, you have one of those bitter pills too. See, so that's how common they are. And you remember me talking to Susan about what that was?
Yeah.
I have 2 big juicy ones as well. Now I can see too. Are you an entrepreneur, Faith?
I aspire to be.
Okay. Well, what I'm seeing is what's called a pyramus Thisbe line. Which means that inside of you, it's like there's an invisible wall between your masculine and feminine sides, so that they can't communicate, and they're a little out of balance. And the reason I asked if you were an entrepreneur is oftentimes entrepreneurs have those because they're not taking time to nurture themselves. So in some way, you're out of balance. I don't know if it's masculine or feminine. You would know that. So either you're taking too much action and not nurturing yourself enough, or you're being a little self-indulgent and not taking action. You're not stepping up into your courage and your power. One of those.
Okay.
Okay, let me see your other hand. Do you know what I'm talking about, Faith?
It could be in a couple of different areas, yes.
Okay. All right, now see on this hand, you've got a real nice long fate line, so that tells me that depending on what you're working on, you're either can be really distracted or you can really burn the midnight oil. And your fate line. What's that?
I said both. I work from home, so it goes from one extreme to the other.
Yep. Okay. Well, I can see that. And do me a favor and just relax your hand a little bit so I can see there. And you've got a nice Mercury line as well, which is that spiritual seeker line, and it starts inside your lifeline. So somehow your family influenced that.
Oh yes.
Okay. And it looks to me like you've got a good amount of creativity. Pull your hand down just a touch. Yeah, I see some creativity. I can't really, see a whole lot on this. Not that I can't. Let me. Bleh. It's blurry, so I can't see a lot. It's not that you don't have a lot of creativity. I don't know, but I can see that there's at least, enough that I can see on this blurry shot. Okay, and the last thing I would say, as far as your heart line, it looks to me like, on this hand anyway, you're a social hermit. And
interesting.
Yeah, well, let me tell you what that means. So, and you can put your hand down.
Okay.
It means that, and for anybody else I'll just give you a sneak peek on my Heartline video that I'm giving you. If all heart lines start underneath your pinky and come across, and if it stops underneath your middle finger somewhere, see how yours stops there, Faith?
On the left hand, right?
I don't know, just it was the last one I looked at.
Yeah, it was the left hand. Does it make a difference with your hands? Because they're different, right?
Yes, yes, it makes a difference. Well, some people have the same heart line on both, but not necessarily. Anyway, a social hermit is someone who keeps their deepest feelings close to the vest unless they really trust, but they're very loyal in relationship. Their alone time is really, really important. They, required to be their best.
Right.
Freedom, very, very important. Freedom of choice. They don't like being told what to do or when to do it.
Okay.
They'll wait to make a commitment because they don't want to lose that freedom, even little things, but they will commit. And when they do, it's pretty much in stone because hermits have very high personal integrity. As a matter of fact, we really lose trust easily because we cannot relate when somebody doesn't do what they said they were going to do.
Right.
Because we follow through and we are reliable, and when somebody else isn't, we're like, we can't even, we don't get it.
Right.
We don't get it.
Wow.
Okay, well, I hope that was helpful.
Yes, no, that's amazing. Thank you so much.
You're very welcome.
All right, so we did have one other guest, but we just lost her, so she may be trying to pop back in. And I know that I had Stacy wanted to have you take a look at her hands as well. So, Stacy, if you're watching, go ahead and jump on, and we'll do a couple more. We'll see if Amanda, I think it was Amber or Amanda that had popped out, see if they come back in, and then we'll wrap up. All right. Well, while we're waiting, any last thoughts, comments that you would like to share, Jayne?
Well, I just, please go to my website, go to the link that's on themarashow.com and get your free Heartline report so that we stay in touch. I'm getting ready to put out an amazing offer on a hand analysis plus purpose coaching. And if you've already had a hand analysis, then we just add another full coaching session, onto that. So it can really help people get started and help them get some options for their ideal work. So that's going to be coming up pretty soon, but only if you're on the list.
Okay, cool.
And from time to time, I'll be giving other free things, as well through my list.
All right. Well, we just had Amanda and Stacy pop on, so I'm going to jump over to Amanda, see if we can see her video. Hey, Amanda.
Hi.
Oh, we just lost your video. Let me just see if I can refresh that. There we go. All right. I'm going to turn it over to Amanda and Jayne.
I don't see Amanda's camera, so...
All right. Click on her one more time. It just refreshed again. Looks like she's in the car.
Which one is she? I don't know which one. Oh, there, I got it.
You got it? Okay, cool.
Oh, there she is. Oh, are you in your car?
Yes, I am.
That's the amazing thing about Hangouts.
That's cool. Okay, Amanda, so, aim your phone at your hand, and I'll try to guide you from there. Oh, good. I can see this better than on the. This is awesome. Okay, pull your hand up a little bit toward the sky. There. A little bit more. You're a social hermit as well on that hand. I see a fate line. Pull it up a little bit more. All right, see, there's a lot of spiritual seekers in this group. Now, I also see, it's interesting, somebody in your family, which is, I see in over half of hands, has some type of codependence or addiction issue. And there's probably, more than half of you probably have that. Pull it up just a little bit more. I'm trying to see your lifeline. Okay. Have you been an athlete of some kind?
Just sports in high school, but other than that, no.
Yeah, well, that's good. That's enough. It's just a athletic-looking lifeline, very healthy. And you may see. I don't want to say what I'm not sure about. So, okay, pull it back down a little bit. You don't need tons of information to make a decision. You're not in your head too much. You don't need tons and tons of data like I do to make a decision, especially a big one. Okay, let me see your other hand. All right, pull it down just a touch. All right, social hermit on both hands. Yeah, you really don't have too much trouble making decisions. I see, I see a gift marking. It's called, and there's 18 possible, so this is, the most difficult possible way to try to see things in the hands. But anyway, pull it up just a little bit more, and then I'll tell you what that gift marking is that I see. A little bit more. Okay, and pull it back down. Yeah, I have a feeling that you have quite a bit of creativity, but the gift marking I see right off the top is called a star in Mars. And it means that you have, are you still there?
Uh-oh. Yes, I am.
Okay, there you go. It means that you have exceptional courage, Amanda. Do you know that about yourself?
Not really. I guess that's kind of something that I maybe struggle with.
Well, have people told you when you were a child or even as an adult that you've got guts or that you're brave?
Goodness.
Well, here's the thing, you've got it, and it doesn't mean you won't feel fear. You'll still feel fear. And if you're on the master path of it, you'll be able to step through that fear into whatever change or whatever issue you're trying to face. If you're on the student path, it will be more challenging for you. So just know that you have that innately, and when you get stuck or get scared, just hold on to the fear. It's not going to go away until you push through it and take the action, okay?
Okay.
And that can be very powerful for you. All right?
Thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
All right, so we're going to jump over to Stacy now. Let me go ahead and get her up and running. Stacy, you there?
This has gone by so fast.
I know, it flies by.
Yeah, it does. It's getting dark outside. We got a thunderstorm coming in. So.
Oh, boy.
Okay.
All right, I see the ceiling. Oh, wait, I'm still on Amanda. So, Stacy, let me get on you.
Okay.
Okay, there you are with your cute headband. All right, so put your hand up like that and, okay, pull it back just a little bit. Gosh, I think we have a bunch of social hermits here.
Me too.
Now, your headline, from what I can see, looks very short, and that just means you're not tangled in your head a lot, and you can make really fast decisions. But, again, let your fingers fall forward just a bit. Yeah, that's the way it looks to me. Okay, pull them back up because it's putting a shadow so that I can't see. I see some creativity. And then pull your hand up higher. You have one of those bitter pills as well, Stacy. Did you hear what we were talking about with that?
Yes, I did.
Okay, let me see your other hand. All right, social hermit again. Oh, interesting. Okay, this is a gift marking. See the way that line goes straight across like that?
Uh-huh.
You've probably noticed your hand is different than most people. Well, now you will. Anyway, that's a gift marking. The way that your headline and your heart line are kind of the same line. So it's called a simian crease. And on the master path, people with that marking are master communicators, and can focus like crazy and can be really intense. And sometimes their intensity is misunderstood as anger, but it's not anger, you're just intense. Now on the student path, or when you're young, it can cause communication problems. And actually, this was the marking that I was talking about with the boy that I read that changed his relationship with his mother. Because she understood then that when he's, sitting in front of the video doing his video games, there is no way to get his attention because his focus is so intense. But because your heart line and your head line kind of run together, that means that your thoughts and your feelings also often run on the same track. So when you were young and somebody asked you a feeling question, you may have answered with a thought answer, and they're like, "No, Stacy, that's not what I asked you. Why are you being so difficult?" So is this resonating with you at all?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. So, but it's a gift marking again because that focus can be a gift. But just be aware that sometimes your intensity can intimidate people. But man, you can really stay focused. But you do have some social hermit heartline on that hand as well.
Yeah, awesome.
And creativity there too.
Thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
All right. Well, with that, Jayne, I want to thank you so much for joining us on the Mara Show today. And for those of you that joined us live, definitely head over and take Jayne up on the offer to get the free Heartline video, as well as stay in touch with her about what her upcoming special is going to be for a hand analysis and a purpose coaching session. It's an incredible, incredible experience. I highly recommend it for all of you. As I said, brought so much validation and confirmation for myself. And thank you all so much for being here, and thank you, Jayne, for taking the time to join us. Any last words before we wrap up?
Oh, my pleasure. I just forgot to tell people, too, that I do free discovery sessions. And that's you'll get an email about that if you sign up for the Heartlines that just says if you want a free, to explore possibilities of working together, you can sign up for that as well. And thank you, everyone, for coming on. And Mara, thank you for inviting me. It was a blast.
Awesome. Well, it's my pleasure, Jayne. You're such a light and a beautiful person. I appreciate you sharing with us. And thank you all for joining us here at themarashow.com. If you're watching this as an archive, navigate over to themarashow.com right now. You'll be able to get Jayne's free gift, as well as check out all of our video archives and subscribe so that you can join us live every Wednesday at 11 a.m. Pacific time, where we bring you experts in personal development, business, and relationships. Thanks so much, and have a wonderful day.
Bye, everybody.